Hello, we are Nerds of the West. Thank you so much for joining us. We are giving you our thoughts on Last Message from Iello Games. Before we jump into it, we have to say that this game was sent to us by Iello Games and their distributor, so thank you very much to them. We are going to be going through all our thoughts on the art, on how the game plays, on the different intricacies, everything that you need to know to get our thoughts and maybe make up your own mind about this game. We have just done a how to play and a playthrough of it, so you can go and check those out as well, because we are live right now on twitch.tv/nerdsofthewest, but you're probably watching this on YouTube in the future. Like and subscribe down below, really does help us out. I'm Tom, this is Beck, we got a Kai, and a Lachlan. And let's start, as I like to always do, and probably the best thoughts, the best place to start on this game, the art. It's the first thing that you see. The box art, pretty basic. I understand why they've made those decisions. It's the first thing that you see, but it's not bad.
I think, actually, if we're going to talk about the box, I think it does a really good job of highlighting what this game is. Because you've got Velma, you've got a villain.
Legally distinct Velma.
Legally distinct Velma. This is some sort of detective, Sherlock Holmes, whatever. But it shows how the game is played. So you're drawing stuff, things are getting eliminated, and you're not getting a full picture.
See, I like the, not on the box, but on like the board where there's highlighted sections of different things. So like there's an image that is been blued out or been like grayed out and stuff, but then certain characters, and even on the back of the other boards or whatever, they highlight specific people to really go, this is what you're focusing on, or this is what they've like chosen. So
and then you're not,
I dig it.
not even drawing all of it as well. Like this little Neanderthal down here is just a head and a sketch of a body.
I do like that. I like that there's different art styles once you actually get into the game itself. I was looking in the rulebook, there's 4 artists across the 6 designs from what I can tell. So you can definitely see some different art styles at play.
Because
I think some art styles. I think some art styles here are stronger than others.
I think it's going to be a preference, right? Like, because there's so many different varieties of art styles, there's going to be the ones that people enjoy more than others. Like, the aliens were very cartoony, the zombies were kind of a little bit more realistic, this is more simple vectors, and then, like, the cowboys and the Neanderthals, I imagine, are done by the same people.
Yeah, I think the hobbits are done by the same people as well.
So what stands out to me is that the different art styles lend itself to more randomness and more choice, which leads to a more interesting game. The aliens, even though, okay, there's a bunch of different spacemen and they all had their helmets on, the aliens themselves and everything going on is so chaotic, thank you, that it makes it really easy to then point out different things.
Yeah.
Like zombies was kind of hard mode.
Zombies were very hard.
But what makes that interesting to me, oh man, that chat is just broken.
Oh.
I thought it was stopping the other chatbot, but it wasn't. Oh man. The then train of thought that you have to go on for the gameplay is then totally different. For me, when I was drawing the aliens, I could go into specific detail and be like, it's this little ship with its 3 wheels. With the zombies, you had to nail down a section and then get into specifics from there.
Yep.
And just the fact that there's those thought patterns in you have 30 seconds to draw is, oh man, so much fun to play.
Yeah,
well,
I think all the pictures drew.
I mean, I was the villain on the zombie map, and when I was analyzing it, the first thing I noticed was that all characters in this are repeated. Like there are maybe at most 10 different, maybe 15 different characters, but they all get repeated in certain ways. So for me, it was a case of trying to find something random enough and isolated enough so that Lockie couldn't draw a landmark to highlight it, which I think I did quite well because the only landmarks you had were other people to have to draw around it.
Yeah, like this map has very few landmarks. Unlike the Neanderthals, we've got caves, rivers. The cowboy ones, you've got saloons, you've got all sorts. Whereas like with the zombies one, it's like there's double ups of people, and there's not many landmarks, which made it incredibly hard.
There actually are a lot of landmarks. It's that they're so mixed in with everything they can easily get lost. So this map is actually entirely covered in buildings and radioactive barrels.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to see them, I think.
Yeah. But focusing on the gameplay a bit more, the thought process of one person choosing, one person drawing, and then that same person deleting again really makes your choice of character as the villain like super important. Like if you were choosing as the drawer, then you choose what's most easy for you to draw. I drew someone whose half their body was, I chose someone whose half their body was covered, so it would be harder for Kai to draw that one person.
Yeah.
And the way those decisions then impact the gameplay snowballs into, all right, then they focused on that one thing, they've got roughly the right area, I then draw a little bit more of that area to try and lock it down. It's such simple gameplay that those little moments develop so naturally, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah. It was very, like, there are different ways to draw it. Like, there's different tactics. It's not just like, oh, I just draw a couple of things and they'll figure it out. It's like, well, actually, the best way is to draw words that go over the lines, so then that way some of your words still exist and can still be like figured out in that way. You could draw one big picture and then have they delete some of it, but you'd still be able to figure out what that is. Or you try and draw as much as you possibly can in 30 seconds and have them just delete different things. And I think that like caught me up a little bit because I used like the quadrants as like the areas of that section that we were looking at, and it's like this guy is here, the thing we're looking at is in the center, there's these guys on like either side, but you could easily just erase that guy, and it like very much your plans just go to poo.
Yeah, except the draw as much as you can in 30 seconds does still work to an extent, and it's because when you take the time to try and draw a scene, what ends up happening is some of that scene is erased and all of a sudden you have no idea what the context is. Whereas when you're trying to draw as much as you can in 30 seconds, what you're given is the opportunity to put a few key points out to narrow down where it's supposed to be, and then hope that you've put enough information in there. Because like one thing that we did on, like that I did on mine was that I had a black hat drawn, and then I wrote black on a different side of the board, and it was to attempt to stop Lachlan from erasing the black hat entirely.
The counterpoint to that is if you focus so much on that aspect, other aspects get ignored. So it's but once again, you've only got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's fun making those decisions on the fly. Where do I stop drawing?
It's kind of on the fly and kind of
too
not.
much information.
Because you're constantly thinking about what you're drawing while they're discussing what they're saying.
The good thing is this game gives you the ability to do it however you want.
Yeah. But I kept picturing in my head while you guys were guessing my previous clue, thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to draw. And then I start drawing and go, I don't have enough time to do that. What was I thinking?
Yeah. And also your ability to draw as well. You're like, this is what I'm going to do. And then you go,
I can't
draw at all.
I just remembered. I don't know how to draw.
Yeah.
It is incredibly simple when it comes down to it, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can absolutely, we mentioned it while playing, absolutely see myself grabbing art from anywhere else, getting an AI or getting box art or something.
And going, where's Wally? Where's Wally? Like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, with the 6 scenarios in here, with like 300 odd characters per thing,
replay value is
you're not going to be in a hurry to replace the scenarios in the box, I don't think. But it is, the rules are certainly, could be applied to different things if you want to. And obviously super easy for him to come out with expansions, just more art.
Yeah, just release more maps.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, in comparison to other write or drawing games, I think they've nailed the idea that they wanted to go for. Here's an image, draw what you've seen. Like, there's so much going on there. It's like you could play the same map like over and over and over and over again. Like, there are obviously the variety, but you can just take on like the city and go, cool, we've played the city before, but let's have another look at it and like pick another character and you'll still get the same enjoyment.
I reckon you see something new every time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. There's so much going on that you can drill down into one particular character every time. There's so many there. So I'd be also interested to see how it plays with a higher player count. Because we played it with only 2 investigators. You could have potentially 6 investigators. So I'd be interested to see whether more brain power means a quicker solution
or too many cooks.
Too many cooks, and everyone has a different opinion and it becomes muddled. So I'd be really interested to see how it plays.
I think 4 is very good. 3 is the minimum that you would need, and I think there's not many games that allow for like a 3-person
like a 3-person party game almost,
which is fantastic because you've got the criminal, the victim, and then the detective, right? And that's what you need. But then you can have any number of detectives, so you can always increase. And like having the 2 detectives was really good because there was many times that like Beck and I were just like, we don't really know who to pick. And it's like, I have a stronger feeling that it's going to be this because of this reasoning, but the other person might think slightly differently. And like you said, if you had too many detectives, it could get clustered. But if there was only one detective, I think you'd be fighting yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it. Like, I think the one thing that helped us with that last one was the fact that I was able to take what you had said as a random guess and go, well, what about this other thing that could be this? And let's guess this person in case it's right.
Get the neurons firing between the two of you. I think this fits into what I've said before that I absolutely love in party games, where it's a party game that doesn't exclude everyone else at the party. It's a party game where anyone walking by the table can sit down and jump in.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is...
Like, they could look at what's been drawn and go, oh, well, what about this person over here?
Yeah.
It's not like you need to have a set 5, a set 6, so it's like, to play this party game, we need to have 6 people. Like, otherwise it's not going to be
And
as
if you've got
fun.
people that don't want to be, committed to
Yeah.
sitting down and playing a
It
game
doesn't
for an
ruin
hour,
the game.
really easy for them to just be sitting at the same table as everybody else. There might be 1 or 2 people really invested, and then someone else just sitting there and occasionally spitballing. So, yeah, I think it's good for that.
So where do we rank it on our board? That is
question.
the question.
Before we get to the board, I had one criticism.
Oh, yeah.
I
Criticisms are
don't
worth.
understand why these are 4 separate cards.
Yeah, I was going to say.
understand
Possibly
why.
for box size. I think
But,
it's only...
Fold it.
Okay, no. So Beck and I discussed this actually. So I was saying that if you were to fold it, you'd end up with these boards, right? But you'd have 4 creases. So if there was people that are in that crease section, then I think it would be a little bit harder.
Yeah, and actually, you want to know what happens instead? Instead, we have to try and line something up where something needs to be lined up perfectly, and instead you get...
there's so much detail going. There's so much detail going off that when you line it up, it fits perfectly. And then you can also exclude it and go, we don't want to use these other 3. I think they made the right decision.
I agree.
can see that like having a folded one would be good because then they could give you 2 copies of everything, have everything folded, and then you could look at the same size because the people who are the criminal and the victim get like a smaller version. And it's really hard to juggle between the two. You're like, oh, hey, like, what are they looking at? Like, what are they talking about? And you're trying to like knock
It's also,
away.
if you're not sure what area of the board you're in, each person can pick up a separate area and start looking at it.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why that needs to be bigger. I just don't. I think I agree with Beck that because of how interactive you are with this, it's so easy for this to get offset, even just slightly, which makes the picture look different and
Or
could throw
To
a
me,
clue
like,
out.
not a big deal.
well, like, and here's the thing: you didn't have to play on a 4-piece map where the person picked something right in the smack bang middle.
That's fair.
So that actually, like, I really like this game. Like, do not get me wrong, it's
Yeah, I
a
had a lot of fun.
fantastic game. But the fact that they were on 4 different cards and we had to try and guess something that was like in the middle of the board, that actually really irritated me.
No.
Interesting.
Like, that really bothered me.
I really thought that they nailed the decision for that.
Yeah.
The thing that I don't think they nailed the decision for was the little...
Yeah, actually, that was going to be my
It
other
needs an actual
criticism.
magnifying glass.
No,
I reckon
actually.
I reckon it just needs a ring. Like, I reckon if you just had a ring,
Yeah.
you could put it around and whatever is inside that ring is what you're looking at.
Because what we ended up doing was we ended
Oh, yeah,
up...
we stopped
just
using it
moved
after
away.
the first one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's just because it distorts it too much to be able to see what's going on around it if you're looking at it from an angle.
But it's
Whereas,
not, it doesn't take away from it at all, because all it is just going, this is the guy, we agree that this is the guy that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're happy with that being the guy, and then we can move it away because we have come to the consensus.
I mean, look, both that and the map being on 4 separate cards, I would say nitpicks. They don't affect the game play, measurably. I think they're just small things that would, just be nice.
Make
And
the game that little bit better.
obviously we're split on the map thing. So
Yeah, so let us know what you
that's
think.
totally a 50-50 for our table anyway.
And we'll see what everyone else out nerds thinks when we re-rank this at the end of the year, because I always forget to mention it in the reviews. We rank, at the start of the review, I should say it, we rank every single game that we play. We don't try and decide if something is better or worse than something else, because how are you supposed to rank a 6-person party game to a heavy Euro for 4 players? But if given the opportunity, what game would you prefer to play? So this is our list as it sits currently this year. Dune Imperium with the Rise of Ix expansion does sit at the top. I will say this is not bumping that up for me, but damn, I would play this game a lot.
Yeah, I can see this getting to the table a fair bit. I mean, it takes longer to play when we're playing on stream always. You could smash out a round of this really
I think 15 minutes
quickly.
is actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the fact that we managed to get everybody play every role. So,
Yeah.
like, everyone
Yeah.
got to play the criminal, everyone got to play the victim, and then you got to play the detective twice.
Yep.
So, I think, like,
In
for
what have we been?
speed,
Are we 2 hours?
2.5.
So if you weren't playing it on camera, you know, you could in an hour, I think you could
Pretty easily.
bust out 3 or 4 games and give everyone a chance to play different roles, which is, you know, in those
Impressive.
games like hidden movement games like Fury of Dracula or Letters from Whitechapel, that kind of thing, Mysterium, where it's a one person's, you know, it's asymmetrical. I kind of feel like you don't always get the chance to experience that asymmetrical position because that game, if it's 2 hours long, might only come out once. Might only play it once in a night, and which means you only get to play.
But then
one
also,
role.
like, going back to the whole, like, party game aspect to it, this is really good because you could be in a party-like setting and someone who's played 2 games can go, okay, well, I don't really feel like playing anymore, get up and just leave.
Yeah.
And then someone else can come in and sit down.
This is perfect for that, but it's perfect also for either an intro, like a warm-up or cool-down game for a game
Yeah.
night. 15 minutes, in and out.
Or
Yeah.
even just like that side game that you have everyone else play while you have 4 people play Lost Ruins of Arnak.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm very keen to play it again. I'm very keen to play with a mix of different people as well.
Yeah.
Where would you rank it, though?
Um,
For me, I'm really struggling if it's better than Libertalia. It's like, oh man, I loved Libertalia.
I didn't play Libertalia, so I have no say on the matter of that. But I feel like I've played the original game of Libertalia, so I have a gauge
Yeah.
or like an idea of what like how good it is. I mean, I really liked it. It is a very short game. It's very light as well, which I think is like kind of. It is super light. Like
Yeah.
it's not just a light game. It's
Very
a
thinky,
super
though.
light game, right?
It's light but thinky.
Yeah, and I think they nail what they're trying to achieve here. So I mean, I'm pretty happy. I'd
So
give it
it-
like an 8.
I was about to say it's a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Libertalia and June are like 9 out of 10. This is a decent 8 out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with that. I definitely think it's it's the kind of game you could take to a party where you're not going with gamers. Like if you're going to a family barbecue or something, this is a game
Christmas.
you can explain crazy easy. You know, your mum, your dad, your little sister can play with no problem at all once you've explained it. Like I don't think that anyone would struggle, even if they're not board gamers, to wrap their head around the concept. So great for a party game, nice and light. I would probably put it just below Libertalia again, probably like an 8. I really enjoyed Libertalia and Dune. Very, very different games though, obviously. I certainly wouldn't take those to a family barbecue, you know, and try to smash them out in 15 minutes. So this is perfect for that slot.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of asymmetrical games as well, so I think it does that really well. And having a light asymmetrical game is great because a lot of the others, like if you're Dracula, Letters from Whitechapel, Mysterium, that kind of thing, that aren't quick games, is where the asymmetrical stuff tends to fit. So I like that this is a nice, quick party game.
Yeah, this is better than I
that
was
ticks those
expecting it to
boxes.
be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Beck, where would you rank it? Seeing as you haven't played many of the other games on here,
Yeah.
out of 10, what are you thinking?
I probably agree with the 8 out of 10. My brain was like 7, but I'm like, I don't really have a good reason to knock it down a little bit. I think for me, I would have, I would have sat in for 2 games at a party and probably been like, all right, well, I've played it now and I've gotten up. And then obviously we've had to sit here and play 4 games so everyone could have a go.
Is it like the longevity of it? Because it's such a light game. That
Yeah.
it's like, it's so easy that it's like, once you've played it a couple of times, you go, I've got the satisfaction from it. And it's really going to be the rotation of the people. 'Cause
Yeah,
you go,
so,
I'm going to play a couple of games. And that's it.
Obviously, a big thing we talked about is like the actual lifespan of the game or the replayability is really high. But what we're not talking about is how long someone would want to play it before they're like, I can't physically look at this game ever again.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like playing 4 games at once. I'm like it's really fun. It's just I'm ready to put this down for a good couple of weeks, and then I'll revisit in like a couple of months or whatever. But it's a really good game. Like it's just
I'm like, so like, I could put it down, but I'm also like, I got to take this and play it with some other people.
like for me, I think it's just because like we had a lot of downtime, and I struggle with downtime. Like if I'm
fair.
sitting here and waiting, I'm just like,
But that's where it's good at a party because downtime is talking, eating, drinking.
Yeah. I think that like, if we were to play it
The
outside of
Pringles
the
made
stream-
it that much easier for me.
If we were playing it outside of a stream, because we tried to be quiet when it was the action happening on a certain side of the table, right? So like when the detectives are trying to guess things, they're talking, but when they're like people are drawing or like discussing things that's happening over there. So there was a lot more like, quiet time that you wouldn't have it in a party instance where you could be like this, that, and the other. You could be talking about the clues that you had while they're drawing and doing the like getting ready for the next round, which I think is something that we didn't experience when we played it today.
Yeah. Well, solid 8 out of 10. We recommend playing it. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment down below if you've played this, if you've got a favorite art style, a favorite art section, or any other games that you want us to check out. Any final goodbyes from anyone? Otherwise, we're going to say thank you very much for watching. Not words. Thank you very much for watching. Come and hang out with us on twitch.tv/nerds of the West, and we will catch you next time.